What is going on, All Terrain Nation? This is the happy hour. That is right. This is the happy hour, and we're going to be real happy tonight because I knew this was coming, and I want to bitch about it a little bit, and I want you guys to join in and voice your opinions. But first, we got to bring out Bronco Santa. We've got Mr. Tim over there with Overland for Fun, and Bronco Santa I think he's a little fired up. Wait,
So,
no, that's just your background.
yeah. So you didn't tell me about this. This was specifically to bitch, and now it makes sense why I'm your go-to guy, because I do like to complain a lot about things, and
Right?
I don't think tonight's going to be any different. I don't
Huh.
know.
Well, but we are gonna do a weekly show. I'm gonna try to bring Tim in, obviously, and we may rotate some other people in from time to time, and we'll have I'll do a fancy intro and all that. But this is the happy hour, and this is automotive as a whole. I don't care if you guys want to talk Lamborghinis. I don't care if you want to talk about, your shit box, whatever you want to talk about. We're going to talk about it on this stream, and we're going to have a good time doing it because, well, it's all we can do, right, Tim? I mean, the way the auto industry is operating right now, it's just like I could probably do a WTF on every brand right now.
I would think so.
But first off, Tim, how are you doing, man?
I am doing good. It's
Peachy?
Tuesday.
Yeah,
I'm peachy.
Good.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. You know what? We're here to complain. I'm just going to complain. So, yesterday I went out. I had my camera ready to go. I'm trying to film a video for Overlanding for Fun, and damned if my neighbor across the street didn't decide he needed to power wash his porch.
I seen you fussing about that.
40-degree weather at 5:00 at night.
Well,
that's trying to get the last of that sun in. And so then I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll just do it tomorrow. And today it's been cloudy and even colder. So
of course, that's how it works, right?
Absolutely.
That's usually in the wintertime when I'm trying to do a review or something on some product here. I look outside, I look out my window there, and I'm like, damn, it just looks nasty. Like I don't want to have to set lights up and all that outside. So I was like, you know what? F it, man. But so we got Bronco Battalion in house.
Absolutely.
Welcome in, Heidi. It's been a while, Heidi. Heidi, we need to get Heidi on the show again because she's got some really cool gear that I like to wear. So tonight is Bob's Burgers for me, though. I'm sorry, but we are in a van, so it is somewhat car oriented. Tim, do you have any car gear on or no?
No, I just got a T-shirt on. It's got kind of like the old GI Joe.
What?
GI Joe logo.
Yeah.
But it says Dad. Yeah, world's greatest dad or something like that.
Right. The real American hero.
I think that's it.
That is true. So topic number one is Ford. Like I said, I knew a day and a half ago that they were about to drop this, and it is the 23 Ford F-150 Rattler that they're going to bring out. And it boggles my mind on this one. There's a lot of things about this particular truck that boggles my mind, and each brand does have this. I mean, good God, like Chevrolet has this weird partnership with Realtree. I don't want any kind of camo on my vehicle, so that's a weird one to me. Ram does what Ram does. Toyota's got 16 different versions now of the new Tundra out. That's kind of confusing. Now Toyota's actually hinting that they're going to put a diesel in the Tundra now, which is weird because they've said for years they'll never do that. And in this day and age, diesel, especially, Tim, like there's so much restrictions on diesel. It's like, why would, as an import brand that doesn't sell many trucks, why would you do that? But then Nissan is, we got last place Nissan over there, who is kind of close and near and dear to my heart. But the industry is a mess right now, and I know it's a big chip issue, and I know we have a large Bronco audience here, and I know Bronco audience, you guys should especially be pissed off right now because people can't get the product they want. Tim, you were a day one reservation or somewhere in there, right?
Day two, I believe.
Day two, but it took you only 16 times emails to actually get a build.
Yeah.
I was pretty lucky. I was pretty quick, but we have so many friends in the chat right now that would that haven't got their Broncos, and they were day one through. I don't care if you're a day through 10 now. Like Ford has a freaking mess on their hands with how they're handling things, and they better revamp this stuff before they start launching new vehicles. But to shake things up, They brought us the Rattler, Tim, and I'm curious, where are you at with this thing? What was when you saw this? I know you've looked at the media page.
Yes, yes,
What's your
yes.
impressions of this thing right now?
Well, I think it's definitely going to probably serve a specific market, but I think as I mentioned to you offline, I think it's just a different shade of lipstick for the pig, right? It's is it really about trying to service a certain segment of F-150 owners, or is it just trying to get something new and exciting out there?
Yeah,
To sell more units,
yeah.
and to sell more units at a time when they're having a hard time fulfilling the units they've already sold.
Right. And here is the press release from Ford on this. New 2023 F-150 Rattler offers customers distinctive styling, rugged off-road capability. And, they did the FX4 package years ago, and people understood what that was. Okay. Oh, cool. I'm getting the off-road package for my truck. Well, that wasn't good enough. And then what do we have now? The, gosh, I'm brain farting tonight. The, not Timberland. What is their
Trimmer?
That's it. Thank you, Tim.
Trimmer.
And so we got a trimmer package, and the trimmer package slightly a little more style to it. I will say I do like the orange striping they do around it. I think it looks fun and youthful and exciting, like an off-road truck should be. But yeah, this one here today, the thing that bothers me about this press release, and you guys please let me know in the comments, man. What's up, Blueford? YouTube Car Spotters Guide, Mobile Moto, Dennis. What is up, everybody? But the thing that bothers me is the press release itself doesn't tell you anything, Tim.
No.
Like,
it's got some distinctive looks, reflect the capabilities of the F-150. That's I'm okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't tell me anything. No motor options, which is not uncommon anymore for press releases. They don't exactly know probably what motor they want to put in this thing, but I get it.
So the one thing they did kind of mention was it was going to be very similar to the FX4 trim level.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe it's probably going to be something along those lines, maybe just a little bit more budget friendly. I think they were talking. I read somewhere in a $30,000 ballpark base price for these.
Yeah, but I don't see that happening, man. I hate to say, 10 years ago you could get a full size truck for $25,000, and for whatever reason they've I know it's profit, but they've cranked the prices up on trucks, man, and they forgot about the entry level. In 1997, I bought a brand new F-150. It was the new design for going from them square headlights down to this more rounded look. And I got the little, I want to say it was a 3.6 V6. I can't remember what the engine was, but it was a manual transmission. It was about as base as you could get, really. But I think it still was an XL or XLT. So I had a radio with some, like I didn't have a CD player. I think it did have a cassette player, but after that, like, it was a manual transmission. I had air conditioning, and I didn't need it to do anymore. And over the years, I feel like, and this isn't Ford exclusive. I know I feel like I'm picking on just Ford tonight, but I'm not. This is industry whole. Like, they forgot the little guy needs a pickup truck that, I don't need that 14-inch screen or 15-inch screen that they want to put in these things now. Our Broncos, you have that big 12-inch screen, which is awesome if you want it, but they're just forgetting that there's a working class person out there that might want a truck. And I don't care if it's for adventure or whatever you want to do with it. They're just sort of forgot that there's a guy out there that needs a vehicle that can't afford one now.
So I think probably a lot of what you're asking for, you could, and I'm guessing, I'm speculating here, you could probably find in like fleet sales, right?
Yep.
Where people are buying basic pickup trucks, buying them in bulk and then buying them for business related things, where they need pickup trucks, and those kind of scale back options are probably available. But for a general retail sale, I think you're absolutely right. I've bought a few cars, but I remember buying a fully loaded 4Runner about 6 years ago and being $15,000 less than what I paid for the Bronco.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's been a substantial jump somewhere in the last 5 years or so. I don't think it's necessarily pandemic related. I just think a little bit of inflation and some other factors that have gone into it.
I
But
think
it's
tech has been the hardest thing for these things. I didn't mean to interrupt you, by the way.
well, you're absolutely right. There is a lot of tech, and there's a lot more tech in the vehicles now, which kind of once I want to lead down to a subject a little bit later on that kind of something that came up with the chips and the delivery of the Broncos in the stream last night for something a little bit later to talk about.
But, right. Well, if you look, so my thoughts, because I've thought about this a little bit today when we knew we were going to do the show. I've thought about this, and it has to the reason to make this thing cheaper has to be due to tech. If you look on it, there's no rear sensors on the back in this rendering. This is not a real picture. Hell, if you look the way they put Rattler on there, it looks horrible. That's totally photoshopped on top of a digital image that they just had a stock image. If you look up here where it supposedly says Rattler, that doesn't look too bad, but the Rattler back here, that was a last minute, like, oh shit, we got to come up with something and put on this thing. It doesn't look exciting enough, but we're in a weird industry right now with chips. So my thought is maybe that Ford's trying to come up with a way of, hey, we can do a lot less chips in this vehicle. We don't need all the fancy parking sensors. I think by law, I do see a camera on the back of it. I think by law, all pickup trucks have to have rear cameras now, or I think all vehicles have to have rear facing cameras now. So they're going to need something for that. But after that, I think this is a stripper model that you're going to kind of get some fun parts on. Obviously, like you were saying, you're going to get a rear locker in it. It's like an XL, I believe. It's been plussed out a little bit. And Lord knows Jeep loves doing that. Like Jeep gets a major car boner for if they can add plus to something and it's like my Willys edition Gladiator is a sport. They couldn't just call it a sport that we added a new radio or something to. Oh, we got to call it the Willys. Mm-hmm. I think Ford's going down that same path of watching like Jeep is a good benchmark for these type of things. Like I was just saying, they can slap some new name on something. Suddenly it's the hat. We got to have it. So I think the auto industry follows that, right?
But is that because Jeep's getting bought out like every other year?
No, I think
some
Jeep,
other company.
I think Jeep was when they decided to do the 4-door vehicle. I think marketing finally was able to say, "Hey, let us have a shot at this." Because before that, even the TJs and stuff were just basic transportation. We labeled them as rugged vehicles, and that was it. They never tried to make it appealing to the moms or whoever that was going to take one on a real trip. Mm-hmm. So Jeep got real smart with, let's do the tow hooks. Let's make them a color. Then Ram jumped on that. And then if you look now, every brand after that decides they got to have their own color for their tow hooks and all that. So I think the marketing of these vehicles now is getting nutty. But, you said something funny about the Rattler name earlier, and I think it was from an article, right? Like, why would you call it the Rattler?
Yeah, it was a comment that I read in one of the articles today that basically it's like, well, why would you use it as an ad? I can't remember what the word is. I think I've slipped since then, but yeah, they were basically commenting, why would you call it a Rattler when that's, like the one thing you don't want to hear on a vehicle is rattling.
And for that, the Rattler name sounds more like a car name to me. Am I weird with thinking that? I think, okay, a Rattler, it just sounds
might be some tie back to the Rambler.
Maybe, but I don't think of a Rattler. I don't think of a snake that's a slow moving. I mean, I guess for a snake, they can move fast, but I think of a Bronco. I think it's a horse. It's a fast, wild horse. The Mustang, once again, it's a horse that are fast. I don't think of a Rattler as like, man, that's brilliant marketing.
No, I don't either.
Good answer, Tim.
No, I'm sorry. Good answer.
Solid answer there. But so I want to get back to this press release a little bit. So let me fix the stream just a second. But and Tim, I know you had some articles that you had pulled up about this thing, but let's get into some details of this thing because they didn't give us much. So expressive style inside and out, exceptional off-road prowess in the new Rattler package introduces adventure-seeking customers to a unique blend of capability and value in the F-150 lineup. And like somebody had said earlier, the STX was kind of, that was Ford's, used to be the XL was sort of their get you in. Now they just got to keep renaming with the entry level package. But I really do wish they would gave us some sort of something about it. I mean, we have some pictures of the interior. It's a truck. I don't see anything super exciting. Like, you're not getting leather in this. If they start doing leather in these packages, you're like, the company wouldn't even understand their marketing. But let's see what else it has. So today Ford introduces the F-150 I already read this. Let's see. For adventure seeking people, that was where I wanted to hint on. So Tim, I know we bought Broncos because, we want to go camping and off-roading and do that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But for me, when I look at F-150 style full-size vehicles, and I don't go down this path of like, oh man, I'm going to go buy a brand new full-size vehicle to be my adventure rig. Now, people out west, maybe that's more up their speed, but I live in the East Coast where there's just, the trails are tight. There's a lot of people on them, so I want something smaller. Do you think that the full-size market is ready for adventure travel?
I agree. I think the full-size trucks are better suited probably for out west or down in Texas in the open trails. I think I read somewhere also that they were talking about it kind of being a rock crawler too, which I'm kind of thinking that maybe might just be just a little too long for that. But what do I know? I'm not an expert at anything. So I don't know. It's just another shade of lipstick, I think.
Right.
I mean, that's going to be my 2 cents. I do think it will, for a budget friendly. Well, I don't even know if I'd say budget friendly for something that's on the lower end of the F-150 spectrum. I think it might give people some added stuff. I mean, I kind of looked at, why did I buy the Badlands versus buying something, one of the, like a base or a Big Ben or something and do all the work myself.
Right.
I wanted to buy something that was ready to go.
Which is kind of what you thought the Tremor is, right?
Well, yeah. But so I can see, maybe somebody buying the Rattler saying, all right, well, I get a little bit more protection underneath. I get the bigger wheels. I get the, the advanced shocks and some other stuff. Now, the one thing that maybe sounds pretty good is if they are cutting out some of the tech, that might be a good thing, a positive thing if you're out on the trails.
Right.
And then you don't have to battle some of those safety features that get in your way because you're in a, uneven terrain and stuff like that.
Right. So part of their sales pitch on this says the F-150 Rattler package is built off of the XL series with the FX4 content featuring skid plates to help ensure the built for tough protection is a protection for confident off-roading experience. Electronic rear locking differential. Sorry, I'm trying to look through a mic stand here. And hill descent control, I never use that garbage. I've seen it fail where people are like, oh, I'll just let the truck do its own thing. And it goes into limp mode. And I watched somebody in Moab go right into a wall and with using that feature. Really? So I'm always a little iffy with that one. I'm sure all the manufacturers have the kink worn out on that. Kinks worn, but I'm always after seeing that, I'm like, you know what? I like a brake pedal. I'll just do it myself. But they're going to do a, where was it? Off-road shock absorbers for increased stability over rough terrain. In addition, the F-150 Rattler features a rugged all-terrain tires for versatility and capability. Well, I know in off-roading, most people go right to the tire shop and they get rid of those tires. So that's kind of a part of the package that I'm like, you know what? I don't want to pay for. I would rather. I think manufacturers are smart now. They know people are going to go right and put what they want on them. So the idea of you're getting a all-terrain tire, which you're going to get on a pickup truck probably anyways, you're not putting some come with street tires, but you're not getting any kind of steps. If you look at the front bumper of this thing, that's not going to be painted. It's just going to be raw plastics. The grill looks to be raw plastics, which I'm fine with. I am, I like sometimes the bare look of vehicles, and they are going to offer a few colors to this thing. Exterior colors includes Oxford white, uh, avalanche, iconic silver, carbonized gray, antimatter blue, which Bronco people are like, hey, where the F is that color for us?
Yeah.
Antimatter blue, storm gray, a gate black. I never can say that right. And rapid red tricoat, which is a upcharge of that's going to be about a $450 upcharge to that paint package.
Is that not your favorite color? Rapid red?
Not I wouldn't say ultimately my favorite color, but when Bronco it was. Peugeot, give us $5, and let's see what he has to say there. Thank you for that super chat, sir. The Rattler package is only available with engines relying on cam phasers. Yes, Ford does have a cam phaser issue with their trucks. Let's see, what else was there? So we're going to get Onyx seats featuring the bronze accents with impeccable stitching. What is this, a Mercedes-Benz all of a sudden? Like, we're really like, I would hope the stitching's good. Like, I don't know. Like, are you saying that you've had quality issues in the past, Ford? What's going on there?
But it's impeccable.
Yes, but
it's impeccable.
It says this truck's going on sale this fall. Now, Tim, I'm going to let you kind of wind up your opinions on this thing, because this truck has set me off a little bit, and I want to kind of rant a little bit.
Oh, well, don't let me get in your way of the rant.
Oh, no. I want to give you the floor to finish up.
I did notice here, I'm looking at another article. It does say the Rattler will be offered with the Super Cab and Super Crew body styles and every F-150 engine except for the 3.3 V6.
So not every engine.
Not every engine. So I think they've got a two. What do they have? The 2.7.
So
EcoBoost?
You can get I want to say a 4-cylinder. I never pay attention to the 4 cylinders in full size, but the 2.7, 3.5 was with the big boys. And are they saying maybe the 5-liter as well?
And that might just be the existing.
Yeah.
Well, no. It did say all the engines except for the 3.3 liter V6.
Where's the bargain in? Because you start adding all this, you add the big boy engines to these things, suddenly you're $55,000 for their affordable value-based pickup truck, man.
Well, if they could get them out the door, would Maverick be the better option? I mean, if you're just looking for a pickup truck to get you around and to, haul your buddy's apartment stuff from apartment to apartment.
Yeah.
Maybe. Is the Maverick the way to go?
Right. But as you can see here in the interior, if you're watching on a phone, I apologize, but this is just from Ford Media's site. You can see the cloth seats. It looks fine. There's nothing about, I've been very impressed with Ford's interiors. So there's not a lot I can say here. It looks like you're going to get the 8-inch screen, probably like what Bronco has. I would say no heated seats, Tim. No options like that at all, man. No extra chips are needed. And I really do think this is all about, we needed a vehicle that we can sell with all that BS gone.
Well, I mean, if they are producing something that has a little bit more flash in it, but doesn't have all the restrictions, maybe this is a smart move for them on this part, from at least a fulfillment standpoint of getting stuff out there.
Well, because all the manufacturers are shutting their plants down again. They're having chip issues, and I remember covering in 20 that there was going to be some chip issues, and everybody's like, oh, by summer of 21 this thing's going to be solved. We're going to be in the summer of 22, and they're not even close to getting that stuff solved, man. And guess what, Christmas time's coming up. Guess where a lot of kids' toys need these little chips anymore. Cell phones, they always knew cell phones come out around Christmas time in the fall. They're gobbling up any processor and chip they can find. Like, dude, until these manufacturers start, I think, almost bringing some of that in-house anymore. I think we've gotten spread so freaking thin, and this is where I'm going to kind of go on my rant. I think we've gotten so freaking thin with this stuff. Oh, go ahead, Tim.
I'm sorry, Dave. I just got to interrupt. Cigar Texan had put a thing in the chat saying bench seats were great for some things.
They were.
Bench seats are great for some things. So I'd like for Cigar Texan to expand on that while you're doing your rant, if you could put that in the chat.
Well, so
And it might be a topic for later.
I think that.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Damn it, man!
One more time. I gotta have to say that this must be pretty serious if you're actually standing, which
I'm mad, but
you're not much. You're really not much higher than you are sitting, but you are standing. So, which means that you're really good. You're gonna rant.
Well,
I'll
you're not gonna let me rant, are you?
No, go ahead.
No, so yeah, we're in a world where the manufacturers, all of them, and this is about any manufacturer in America anymore. We've spread everything. Oh, it used to be, oh, well, we'll just sub out the computer parts. We'll let Asia handle that. Well, now it's the plastic parts and all these parts. And obviously Ford is a manufacturer. Yes. So they're assembly. That's all they don't actually build anything. They just assemble things and they'll stamp the steel and stuff. But after that, it's up to somebody else to do it. But at some point, you'd made a hint about, is this very Henry Ford like? And
Yeah.
I don't think it is. And I think Henry Ford would be building most of this vehicle himself. And I think there was a partnership with the 10-speed transmission. GM and Ford partnered to create that transmission. These guys better freaking start partnering up to build their chips and stuff here in the United States, or else we've slowly become a country that doesn't make anything anymore. We're consumers only. The reports are coming out now that this whole COVID thing is not, oh, well, people are working at home. Well, now these companies want everybody to come back to work. And they're like, no, I don't think so. And I just keep seeing the way America's going right now. It's like completely we just buy things. We're Amazon people now, and we'll let the lesser people handle that. And guess what, America? You want your Broncos, you want your new ZR2s or whatever you want to buy. You better start bringing this shit home. And I can't say what I want to say because I don't care what side of the aisle you're on this stuff. It doesn't matter. People in Washington, D.C. don't give a F about any of us. They are just there to collect their royalties on being cool. And we better start inventing stuff here, Tim, and get our asses back to work. And if it's the chips that kick in the Industrial Revolution Part 2, let's get that shit going here. And if you guys want these cool trucks, freaking build it here, man. I'm sorry, Tim. My head's going like crazy because I'm kind of pissed off about this, but where are we at, buddy?
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. I mean, every time my father-in-law comes down to the house, I get a whole rant about made in China products.
Yeah,
and on him in saying he's willing to pay more to have it American made. I think he's the exception, not the standard. And on a lot of cases, we have shifted from a manufacturing to more of a high-tech industry. But I also look at how much stuff have we pushed offshore to have done.
Yeah.
And looking at the chip industry, for example, I look at Intel. Intel, the CEO, Pat Gelsinger, is pushing. He was at the State of the Union address. President Biden, mentioned him by name, but he was pushing for a $58, I think, $billion bill that would give tax incentives and stuff for manufacturers like Intel to bring an industry that was created in the United States back to the United States. Now, I don't disagree with giving tax incentives and stuff like that to companies to foster business, to generate new technology and new things. I mean, we have to have that because that's how we grow as a society. But $58 billion to bring back an industry that was founded in the United States, I don't know. I have a hard time with that. I think it left the United States out of greed.
Yeah,
they took it somewhere where they could make it cheaper.
It
wasn't
and that's
necessary.
that is capitalism. I hate to, I'm a free market guy, but Jesus, man, you can't. it's like politically in the United States, generally we sway from major side, then we'll go to the opposite side, and eventually we all come back to the middle. I hope capitalism learns real quick that, the Asians in China in particular have us by the balls with this stuff. They proved real quick during the pandemic, hey, we're not sending you masks. We need those masks. And you're like, wait, those were our companies that we partnered with you guys to build. Nope, sorry, you don't get any of your own stuff. Medicines now. And that's basic stuff that keeps us alive. Not even talking about the auto industry. And I don't even care if it's built in Mexico anymore. Bring it to this side of the world so we can get it faster. We have how many cargo ships are still out in the middle of the ocean that they can't get the product off because they have nobody here in the United States that wants to work to do it. It came out today that Stellantis, whatever the hell you want to call them anymore, they are laying off people in plants here. I forget where the Cherokee's made. It's Illinois, I think. That plant, they're trying to get rid of a bunch of people there. People take early buyouts because they want to shove that stuff. They really like to shove the Cherokee overseas and let them import that back in. I want, I know the Bronco audience. You guys I want my Bronco. I want my Bronco. And I want every one of you guys to get your Bronco. But if the manufacturer you're trying to buy from, and this is not Ford specific, if the manufacturer you're trying to buy from can't make the essential tiniest little thing, where are we going to be in 5 years? Because the chip thing isn't going to get better. And a report came out a couple weeks ago of like, oh, we need to bring, like you were saying, Tim, well, Intel wants to make some plants here in Ohio and a couple of places. Guys, those don't open up within a year. I think it was 4 years, they said, from start to finish to get a plant up and running. That's freaking ridiculous. So you're thinking, okay, if we get chips going again here in the United States, say 5 years, say it takes a year for planning wherever you're trying to do it, get it through all this, the legal stuff you have to get it through. So what are we, 2028 that we're going to deal with all this bullshit like that? It's ridiculous. And then we got these manufacturers trying to figure out a way to make us cheap pickup trucks that, because they got to sell something. And at the end of the day, who do we have to blame? The federal government decided we need all these safety features. They pushed hard, man. 2 administrations ago, oh, we've got all this stuff. We've got to really, the cars, and now we're into EV territory where EV vehicles take 3 times the amount of microchips to make those heavy bastards go down the road. And I don't know. I've had about enough of excuses. I've had about enough of all these manufacturers. I will say Chevrolet and GM have been good about, they paused the Silverado refresh was supposed to come out last year. You know what they did? They said, time out. We can't. They were smart about it and said, no, we're going to push that back. And they pushed it back. And now they're even with that model is saying, hey, we're going to ship them out minus steering wheel heaters and stuff that you're paying for. And but Ford just continues to piss off the audience, man. In 2020, you guys reserved your Broncos. What was it? 33,000 were built last year. At the rate we're going, you might see 50,000 this year. Dude, that's a lot of pissed off people, Tim. So where you at, buddy?
How many total? Was there ever an official reservation? Are you still standing?
Nope. I'm down. I'm on my ass.
Oh, it's hard to tell. So
you asshole.
Did they ever come out with an official reservation number? I somewhere I heard 190,000.
They were claiming 190, and I will say this: there probably were 190,000, but let's go ahead and knock off 25% of that, just because it was some 18-year-old to 25-year-old that had $100 that wanted to tell his buddies they reserved one, got their money back. I know personally of a handful of people that did that. They had no intentions of doing it. It's like, I don't know, they were buying street cred or something. I don't know what that was about. And I work with one of those guys, and it trips me out. Like, why he was like, yeah, I reserved one too. I'm like, yeah, but I'm buying it. Are you? So anyways, no, I think Tim, I think they probably realistically 130,000 probably reservations still active, not counting the orders from dealers, because then they opened it up to dealers.
That's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot to promise. And
Well,
I think they're probably a victim of their own circumstance too. I mean, COVID, I think, is a convenient excuse.
mhm.
Um, it was there. It disrupted things, but a lot of manufacturing went back to work. A lot of food chain went back to work. A lot of supply chain stuff. Those people continued to work. Um, and I think industry is used as an excuse. And I tell you, the first time I hear somebody say, "Well, because of COVID," I mean, that's it for me. I hang up the phone or whatever because I don't want to hear that as an excuse. As a
Yeah.
manufacturer, as a an assembler, as a company that's in business to make money, if they haven't figured out how to navigate around the uh, the pandemic and the
Yeah.
labor issues and stuff like that, then
You've had
shame on them.
2 years to form a plan.
Oh,
And now
absolutely.
granted, major corporations, it's a ship that's not gonna, it's like trying to turn the Titanic when you see the iceberg.
Hang
Takes
on
a
just a second.
while. Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
I'm sorry.
It takes a while to right that ship, but like Tim was saying, they've had more than plenty of time now to solve this. What you don't do, you don't start adding Raptors and all this extra BS that I get it. It's a badass, Bronco or things like maybe this new Rattler. You have to pause these things. They were great ideas and they were probably going to be home runs, but guess what? The timing's not right. You just back off of some of this stuff. And with Ford, in Ford's case, and I'm going to kind of wind down with the Rattler, unless you guys in the comments have some comments about it. In Ford's place, I think they're a victim of their own success. I think they're on hit after hit. The Maverick's been a hit. The Mach-E, whether you like it or not, they're not profitable, but it's been a hit for the company. It's brought them a lot of recognition in the EV world. And you just keep going, oh man, I can just keep throwing out, I'm just throwing out dimes and they come back $100 bills, and they just need to stop. And you don't see this with some of the other manufacturers though. Like I was saying, GM pulled back a little bit. Now they're going to bring new vehicles out, but they had to pull back a little bit. Let's do what we can do. Let's do a light refresh. We know we can handle that. The plastics are made here, or the molding for all of that. It's all made here. So we can kind of chill with that a little bit. But I want to say, Thomas, congratulations. His two-door Badlands shipped yesterday. So long, Ice Mountain, and he gave him the bird. And congratulations, sir. That is awesome, and that's the kind of news I want to hear. But Tim, the next thing is we're with the microchip BS is EV. Every manufacturer, they needed good press, so we had a new administration come in, and once again, don't get political in the chats, or I have to boot you, man. I don't want to deal with that shit right now, but there is a new administration, and this administration has a green plan. Whether you agree with it or not, they have a plan. We want to push this cleaner energy. Okay. We get right in the middle of a pandemic. They were just taking over. Guess what they're doing? Let's keep pushing this. We need
Well,
EVs. And all the manufacturers like to be their buddies are like, yeah, 2030, we're totally EV.
yeah.
There's no way in
So
hell that can happen now.
the king of EV, Mr. Elon Musk himself, is the one that said we needed to increase our
Mm-hmm.
petrol production.
Yep.
Or and he's the guy that wants to eventually see us with all electric vehicles, but understands that you're not just going to get there overnight. And I understand the incentives to kind of help people along those routes, and I think car companies should invest into those kind of technologies and everything.
Sure.
But at what expense? I mean, a lot of what we're getting now is being forced upon manufacturers in the form of CAFE standards.
Yep.
If I understand that right. And it's not the individual vehicle, it's the fleet across all the vehicles that they make. And my understanding, their measuring system is kind of silly. It's like gross weight minus wheelbase times something else.
Yes.
And however the stars align.
The wheelbase thing is how some of these manufacturers sneak some things in. It's some weird cop out.
And but it's just, it gets forced kind of down the manufacturer's throat in a way that forces them to be a little creative. Like, I'm just thinking about the Bronco as I've climbed underneath it, and it's all aluminum. It's a lot of the structure in there is aluminum, with the exception of the actual frame. The bolts that hold the rock rails on, I'm pretty sure are aluminum.
Well, and now you're seeing manufacturing problems with a lot of that stuff. You look on the Broncos specifically, and they're having problems with rust on a lot of bolts now because they're not coated properly. They're not been powder coated properly. And you're just like, maybe you guys worry about the little details. I just feel like some of this is the manufacturing. I will praise Tesla when they deserve praise. I think Tesla has a shit ton of quality issues, and I mean that. There's a lot of quality issues. You don't take delivery at night of a Tesla because you're liable to see paint running down the side of it when you wake up in the morning. They have a handful of problems, but I haven't heard of Tesla through the pandemic really like having to slow down. I mean, yes, they've slowed down, but you don't hear of them shutting everything down. Now, I'm sure Tesla would like to use this current chip issue with their Cybertruck and say, well, that's what's holding up the Cybertruck. No, that's just Tesla being Tesla. And Tesla, where's the sports car they promised us, 4 years ago, something like that. Still don't see that one, but we got one flying in space, Tim. So we're good. We got a mannequin in there, and it's going around the sun now. But now,
they can return a rocket to Earth.
Yes.
And tell me that isn't cool.
No, that's badass. I respect the company a lot. And I think it's a way of doing business, that there's a modern way that Tesla's doing it, and there's the dinosaur way that the rest of the manufacturing world's doing it. And they don't go hand in hand, whether it be, you can blame unions or whatever you want to blame on why the industry is like slow to make changes. I don't care. I really don't care. Unions have their place in some places and they don't in others. That doesn't bother me at all. But when the leadership at the top on all manufacturing, I don't care who it is, like you were saying earlier before you backed out a minute, Tim, they needed to right this ship. And instead of righting the ship, they thought, well, we'll lose a few people. They'll fall off the boat, but we're just going to keep going forward, right? We're not going to throw life rafts out for those people. We just keep moving forward and we don't look back. It boggles my mind. This Rattler thing, it rattled me, as it were. And it really did, because a lot of our friends in chat, there's I think I've got a build date. Or how many build dates did you get, Tim? I mean, for Christ's sakes, 8. Man, take care of your.
I got 8 of them.
Take care of your loyal fan base. A buddy of mine that used to do the podcast with me, he's like, we call like the Ford people or the Nissan people or whoever you want to refer to, they're the barnacles. You don't, you can scrape them off, but guess what? They're back there. They cling on, they're your loyalist fans. And I feel like, especially Ford in particular right now, don't care. They like, oh, we got the new EV people. They're going to love this. Oh, we got this new EV cargo van. They're going to love this. We're green as ever. And yet, oh, well, here's another emissions pushing out vehicle. How many more?
Yeah. Now, and to your point, I don't know if manufacturers say, well, we're going to have a certain number of people that are always going to be brand loyal. They're always going to buy GM, or they're always going to buy Ford. And to be honest with you, the last cars I've bought was a Toyota, Kia, Ford.
Right.
So, I'm not necessarily brand loyal. I liked the Kias. We still have one. I traded one in to get the Bronco. But man, I see a huge quality difference between those Kias and the Bronco. And it's, the two cars came from South Korea, and I never was concerned. And I'm not saying that I'm concerned with the Bronco, but it's just like they're finding more and more ways to reduce the weight to get past these EPA restrictions. And then, it's kind of showing on the outside. It's me being concerned that if I lean up against the vehicle, that I'm, the panel's going to dent in, things like that, things that you never would have been worried about 10 or 15 years ago.
Sure. And I'm going to pull up Ford's website here in just a minute because I want to see all the actual F-150s they're offering now because it's probably ridiculous. I haven't tracked this in a while. Let's see. F-150 starts out at $29,990. Tim, send it to the stream. So there you go. You can see there is Ford's website, and so that's an XL model.
Yeah.
And let's click the old build and price and just see what happens here. We're not going to build one by any means, but I just want to see. I want to see how many options pop up here for vehicles. In reality, all these vehicles are price points, and they're $1,000 price points. And before you know it, that you thought you were saving on the whatever. Come on, Ford's website. You thought you were saving on this vehicle or that vehicle, and turns out you're probably paying more for less in many cases. If you start apples and apples on these vehicles, I guess they don't want us to know about their trucks.
It's because the online censors determined that you've been talking shit about them tonight.
Probably.
So, yeah. They've blocked you from the site.
Or I've done too many building prices and they're like, shut that guy down.
Mm-hmm.
So here's an F-150 XLT for $57,000. The Lariat is $64,000. The XL is, this is just particular VINs in my area are $34,000. And what did you say this was going to start out at? What, Tim, did you?
I thought around 30,000.
Yeah. I guess this thing ain't gonna allow me to do what I want to do on it. So thanks, Ford. No. But they have, like, Ford in general has way too many pickup trucks. I know they sell a ton of trucks, but their packaging is a nightmare. You thought Bronco was relatively simple for how to package things. You get into the F series and it's a spider web of you. Before you know it, you got an $80,000 truck. And GM is damn near the same way with their stuff. Guys, in the comments, I had posted up that I want this show to be interactive more than any I do. I want this show to, if you guys have a good take, I want you to be able to come on live stream with us. Be nice, obviously. We can't shut the show down over, any political comments or whatever you would like to. But if I don't get any emails tonight, what the plan is for you to email us and give us a quick synopsis of your take on what you want to talk about. And we'll look through the emails and we'll kind of try to choose some, people that we'd like to talk to, and or that, the comments fit the show. But that's a part of what the happy hour is going to be, is interactive. I want you guys to just kind of steer the pirate ship a little bit. Let's see. I haven't seen anything stand out too much just yet in the chats. Tim, have you seen anything that you wanted to hit on?
It's Mobile Moto just brought something up here. It says paint is overrated. Wrap it.
That is true. What's up, Valley Dude? No, wrapping is great.
That might be something, that maybe Ford should just go, or the manufacturers just go with a base color and then offer custom wrapping.
Yeah.
And just either your own design or just some kind of standard.
Wouldn't that be cool
designs?
if you could print? You literally, like, you could, how you can upload photos to Walgreens and they'll print your photo for you.
Yeah.
So you upload, your a picture of you and your family, and you want that on the side of your vehicle when you pick it up, and bam,
absolutely.
Hey,
digital age, man. It's all digital art. It's digitally printed now. Why?
And then it's an NFT. And then it's an NFT, and you sell that thing for 3 times the amount.
And I think, I honestly, there you go, Ford. Call me, Mr. Farley. Call me.
You're close.
Yeah,
you're not too far off.
Yeah.
No, I think we should just do
Farley.
Yeah, I think they need to another truck. I think one of these manufacturers needs to get smart and go, hey, you can only buy this through Bitcoin. That's how clean energy we want to be. Is the coin that supposedly costs more to produce. I don't know. That always trips me out with the Bitcoin. Well, it's the electricity it costs. I'm like, do you realize, like, to stamp a damn coin is not like how much goes into that? Your carbon footprint on stamping a coin that's supposedly worth like a penny. That's not what the It's not even worth, I forget what it is. The coating or something's worth more than a penny now or something. It's something silly. Bronco Battalion loves cats. That's and she does. I've seen her cats. She does love her cats. Guys, in the comments, let's see. Bronco Battalion actually has a comment. She says Ford needs to address what they're actually doing for everyone who did a reservation and still waiting. Like I know Heidi there. She's waiting on a 2-door. She was a day 3 around the same time I did a reservation. Blows my freaking mind. Wow, those people do not have their vehicles. And people, I've seen multiple comments this past week. Hey, I ordered mine in December and it was delivered this week. You're like, what the F, man? I don't, that boggles my mind. And what really boggles my mind about it is, let's be honest, the body of we got a body of a 4-door base and the body of your 4-door Badlands. You know what's not different? Anything about that body. Like, and Ford's got this hard on for, but we got to get the Big Ben. If you order a Big Ben, we can get that right out. For the life of me, I can't figure that one out. I mean, obviously, yes, chip issues. There's more technology in the upper trims, but let's not act like.
Is there?
I would assume there is, because you can get some tow packages and stuff that I don't know, Tim. I'm pissed off, man.
Well, so to kind of go down the line of last night where they were talking about shipping vehicles out early, would you be willing to take your vehicle without all the options, available, and then when those chips become available, that they, you go into the dealer and the stuff will be added in? Was that something that we were talking about last night?
We talked about a lot last night, Tim. I've drank since then.
I hear you.
Yeah, the Bronco in general, like, I think for people to get, like Heidi, she says, I'm pissed off. She should be.
Yeah.
You should be livid.
Oh,
and I know several people that I've talked to for well over a year since I've been covering this issue with Bronco. They should be freaking pissed, man. You should be at your dealership, which has nothing to do with this, by the way, other than maybe the amount of vehicles they didn't sell that Ford is giving higher volume dealers more priority. But you should be in that general manager's office going, hey, let's call Ford right now. Where is my freaking Bronco? Now, granted, you didn't pay for it yet. It's just, but people need to show some anger, whether it's some weird class action lawsuits that need to happen or something like that. There needs to be something. They need to stop with the BS wild outdoor emails that they like to send out every 6 weeks and be accountable.
I'm not a lawyer.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that fire pit behind you meant you were a lawyer.
I have a feeling that there's probably something, or there's not a transaction other than you've placed an order, with no specific, time of delivery, time frame, anything like that.
Right.
In some cases you put some money down and some you didn't, depended on the dealer. Reservation notwithstanding, that's a whole different thing. That was really just, some returnable skin in the game.
Right.
Just kind of to judge. Well, and I think that's something that gets people excited early in the thing, but I don't know. I don't know if it lost you. I don't even think you can.
I'm not sure that somebody you can sue for damn near anything anymore.
Oh, absolutely.
If Joe says it's just Tim's fantasy to be a lawyer.
I was sitting around the other day talking with a couple of lawyers at a kid's birthday party.
That's, man, you need lawyers at a kid's birthday party.
Dude, they were just lining up waiting for the liability suits.
I bet you probably one of them tripped a kid.
There was a bouncy house in there and everything.
Oh my God. Could you imagine what goes through a lawyer's head? Like, in reality, what goes through a lawyer's head when they see some of this stuff? They're just like, Christ, man, there's liability there's liability. Like, I can only imagine, man.
Dollar signs.
Yeah. As Heidi said too, she says it's not about the money, it's about the communications. And I think Ford in general, the communications of launching that vehicle were brilliant. I still think it's one of during the pandemic, I think that's the launch of the year, that video, to get people excited about the Bronco. Anything they've done after that, they've lost all credibility with, whether it be Esteban coming on Bronco Nation, which is selected. It's weird. The selective, your brand manager only goes on the selective independent forums to talk about Ford, which is weird because they get all the exclusives. I wonder how is that they get all the exclusives, but yet. Anyways,
the third party paid marketing company.
Wait,
what? It is a thing.
They would
my industry. We have those too. We have user groups that are third party paid marketing companies.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of things that have user groups. But anyways, they need to get that guy out in front of, I'm not going to say my show. My show is not big enough. We're nearing in on 6,000 subs. I don't claim to be to move the needle for these people, but they do, trust me, they do pay attention, not just to my show, any of the, Giddy Up shows or whatever, what they watch all that BS, and they pay attention to this stuff because they are curious about what the general public think.
The fire back there. The fire will bring them.
The fire yes.
will draw.
Man make fire.
The fire will draw Ford in.
That's right. Like a moth to the flame.
Absolutely.
But they do.
I mean, look, we've got Mobile Moto set around. I mean, he's been hanging around all night. Fire. Empress too.
It keeps them warm. But they do need to get out, and I don't know if it's like with my buddy Esterthal's show over at Pickup Truck or TFL. They need to, and I don't think those shows are necessarily right for sit down interviews. Maybe go and see CB, whatever, CNBC or something, a financial show, and them have to explain themselves slightly, and we can bitch about the trimmer light package that is called the Rattler. I can bitch about that all night long. It's not going to make a hill of beans, but they do need to have some realization that people are mad at your company and all companies.
Well, so you just mentioned something about going on to CNBC, and Ford is a publicly traded company.
Yep.
Is a lot of this just to create the market hype keep the stock prices up? Hey, every manufacturer's got the excuse of pandemic, COVID, whatever, but we're keeping interest.
Hey, buddy,
we're keeping interest in the Ford brand. We are getting people. They're reserving things. Dude, our numbers are up.
April of 2020, I made a certain company's stock go up $5 per share. Yeah. I did that with one picture that I dropped. Now they effed it up, and
Does Pornhub?
Yes,
Pornhub. I didn't know.
Yes,
I did not know Pornhub. Pornhub was publicly traded.
Well, there's a lot of public about that. But no, seriously, it can, things like this have a major effect on their stock prices. And Ford, when they launched the Bronco at that reveal, man, their stock prices were jumping a little bit, and it was good times. And what's their next reveal? Companies like Ford, I know GM's got the ZR2. The ZR2 is about to come out for press drives, which, I probably won't get invited to, seeing how I'm ranting about the auto industry. But there's some, GM's got some stuff coming out. Ford's kind of at the bottom of the barrel right now with what they've got coming out. They need some good press, man. They don't need these people. Dealers are even upset with Ford. It's not like it's just exclusively to the actual customers, but dealers like Ford wants you to order your vehicle. That's the future, and that is the future of auto buying. Is you see it on Amazon, not actually Amazon, but you see it on the screen, you push buy now, and 4 to 6 weeks it shows up. They want that badly, and dealers are fighting that stuff. And
so I'm going to say that despite the wait for the Bronco, this was by far the best buying experience I had.
Wait, what?
It was catalog buying.
Oh, yes.
It was catalog buying. And I basically, I picked out what I want. I walked in, I talked to the sales manager. We translated that to an order. I had a price. I walked out the door. I came back when they called me, told me it was there.
Yep.
And
they would have delivered it to your house too.
He probably would have, just to get the opportunity to drive it.
Yep.
Because my general manager was that cool. And he's got one too now. So
nice.
But customers, he was a customer just like everybody else, right? And it was being delivered. I think he probably got the 5th or 6th one that came to the dealership. So, but yeah, I mean, I had a salesman that was assigned to the purchase that literally just did the paperwork, the state paperwork and whatever you had to do for the loan and all that stuff. But otherwise it was easy, because everything I hate about salespeople is glorified in a car salesman. And so the least amount of time that I have to speak with them, the happier I am in life. So that was a great process. And I would kind of like to see that. And I think dealerships, I don't know whether they do a direct to consumer. There's been some videos. I know there's been laws in
they've been fighting laws on this
various states.
Tesla's battleness.
But maybe there's still a role for the dealership, but I don't think it's necessarily having 300 vehicles on the lot. I don't. I think.
Thank you, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, Mr. Tim Esterthal, for that super chat. And he says Mike Levine can't please his wife because Mobile Moto said something. He's like, where do you guys get this stuff? They're mad, buddy. They've had enough with an industry in general that's over-promising and very under-delivering.
Well, so, but to the point, consumer confidence, right?
Yep.
And all their stock is based on consumer confidence. And at some point, the positivity level is going to intersect with the hype of things like the Rattler. And I keep looking around my desk here looking for one of my kids' baby Rattlers, because really that's what I think, right?
That would have been a great thumbnail for this, of putting a baby Rattlers in that thing.
Could they have picked a snake that was a little bit more formidable, like a cobra, or
the Viper was taken.
A Viper, Rattler, corn snake. It's about the same thing. I mean,
then Dodge is going to come out with their Barracudas and the Mongoose. Like, it's just, I do find the name of that vehicle in particular is just horrible. Like you were saying earlier, why would you name something a vehicle that you don't want any rattle sounds? Why do you want to? Let's not put those two words together, man. Yeah. Can you imagine going into your dealership with this thing? It's making some weird rattle noise, and you take it into it, and the guy that checks you in, he's like, so what model is this? It's a Rattler, and it's rattling. And you're like, that just sounds like comedy right there in itself, man.
Absolutely.
Oh, Tim, I just noticed that your name says special guest.
Yeah, ATN special guest.
That's right.
I tried to put special correspondent in there, but it took up the entire bubble.
The whole screen.
It's just well, it took up I didn't know if it would go any further than that. I can always put it in there. I had ATN special correspondent Tim overlanding for fun, aka Bronco Santa, but I didn't know if that would scroll or what that would do on the bottom.
Revy says, what would you name the Rattler? I mean, man, that's because I do like Trimmer. I like that name for the truck. It sounds tough. Rattler just sounds like something when they were coming up with maybe the Ranger Raptor or the Bronco Raptor, they were had throwing darts at a thing going, hey, what do we call this thing? Well, we've got Rattler trademark somewhere. Let's just throw that out there. But then again, Ford took a lot of shit for the Maverick. The Maverick was a car. It wasn't kind of a muscle car, but it was somewhere in between an Econo shit box and a muscle car. It was somewhere in there. And they took a lot of crap initially saying, hey, we're bringing back that Maverick nameplate. So hell, who knows, man? I don't know what you would call a truck, because I'm sure I would love to sit in a marketing meeting on one of these, on any manufacturers, and where do they come up with, what justifications do you have for a nameplate? Trimmer, Okay, it's shocking. Okay, trimmers, there's shock. There's a lot of off-road. You think of the groundbreaking stuff like that. Okay, I get that one. The Raptor. It's a dinosaur, man, and Jurassic Park made that thing look scary. You're like, oh, dude, that's awesome. Rattler.
Pterodactyl.
I've killed some rattlesnakes. I mean, in reality, I've killed 2 or 3 of them. Like, I didn't, I've got one with 13 buttons, Tim. I'm quite proud of that one. But ultimately, like, I don't know. Rattler's not it for me. But I'm nowhere in the naming game. I'm just here to criticize.
I saw someone in there. Somebody mentioned Maverick should have been named the Ranchero, and if that was a Ford truck, wasn't it? I think it was. Wasn't that?
Yeah, it was the partnership with Mazda, I believe. Or no, Ranchero was the
their version
Camino
of the El Camino
style. Yeah,
yeah.
I actually like this in Peugeot, the F-150 Black Mamba. But if I was going to do the Black Mamba, that thing had to have the GT500 engine in it. Like that, yes, I can get all about that. But not for this. I don't think it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one because it's an entry-level truck, so you can't have it sound too cool, but you can't have it sound lame either.
Yeah. The Ford F-150 Python. It's just going to squeeze the shit out of your wallet.
Like my trip to Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us, how'd your gas mileage do?
Oh, dude, it was horrible. I was doing great. I was in the 18s till I hit Missouri, till I hit basically St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know if it was just the up and down hills of kind of going to Iowa. I dropped to the 16s. I think on the way back, I think I was 16.5 for total trip. Which if I compare it to my last vehicle, I'm like, well, that's for the same vehicle. Okay, that's better than that one would have done, but it wasn't great.
So were you using cruise control, or was your foot on the throttle the whole time, or
no cruise control?
Control?
That and 87 octane. So I don't know if the octane maybe deterred performance and miles a little bit or not.
Mm-hmm. Did you watch one of I can't remember which video it was, but it was a video that Johnny did.
Johnny
I
who?
think
who's Johnny?
Johnny's Car Care.
You didn't get my song joke, man. Who's Johnny?
Sorry.
Come on, we're about the same age. Jesus.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to put that fire out. I'm gonna extinguish that fire if you don't join in the show, Tim.
I'm still trying to figure out who Alice is, so there you go. But no, Johnny had done I think it was a video. It was about their trip down to
Florida.
To Florida, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he had made an observation, and I think that's something we should try. And talking
things?
about basically the difference of driving like 65 and 75 maybe, and the better gas mileage at 65, and then looking at the time you would have saved by driving a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Or I guess and that you're actually better off saving more money based on the time by driving a little bit slower. And he got better gas mileage driving at like 65 versus 75 or whatever.
No, they're definitely tuned. There's a peak. I think it's around 55 miles an hour is the peak tune for miles per gallon. And once you go over it, you're kind of killing it. And when you're under it, the motor's working. That's what I've always heard, whether that's true or not. But I have heard 55 is kind of the because I assume somewhere in between there is city driving, average the highway driving, and it comes to that. Mobile Moto says they could have called it the Alpaca. Not a bad name, but where was it? Here we go. In Peugeot, the Pit Viper. That's a little bit better than Rattler to me.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Rattler because you think of the Wild West off-road. The Scorpion, no, that would have been lame. The Condor, no, that's extinct. The Bald Eagle, no, that doesn't sound great either. I don't know. The Ladybug. How about the Ladybug? They're small, but they can do damage.
Japanese beetle.
The ladybug wannabe.
The cicada.
See, but they only come out every 7 years or so, which is like Ford does with these models. They only come out to be honest, this won't be around in 2 years. It's some name that every once in a while, some of these companies throw something out. It didn't stick and they just move on.
Due to lack of sales. Well, and they're not designing a whole new truck around this thing. It's
trailer park edition.
Yeah. It's just a trim package.
Yeah.
So
it's still an
what's the investment, right? What's the investment in? Some marketing, some focus groups, some millennials sitting around.
But
talking.
Names do sell. Like I do think about that from time to time of okay, you've got an F-150. Why did they need a trimmer, or why did they need, a Raptor? Like, it is strange to me that you have an F-150, 250, 350. You've got a Silverado, the HD, the Ram 1500, 2500, 3500. Like, they have all these sub names for these things, and I guess we're just into animals now.
I think a lot of that is they're playing off the male bravado and having to one up your buddies.
A little bit. The Ford Tortoise. Not bad. Not bad. The Killer Hornet, Kevin says.
Then that I think that might conflict with something Mopar.
Which one is that one?
The Hornet, the Killer Hornet.
Yeah. Let's see. The Copperhead. See, the Copperhead sounds better than the Rattler.
Yeah, and they could have used Copperhead Road as a theme song.
That's right. Well, I'm sure they want that guy as their spokes musician guy,
Who sings that song? I forgot. It's been so long.
God, I can't. He's very not PC. But it's a great song.
Yeah.
King Snake. King Snake's not. But I think King Snake, and for some reason, didn't they have a Mustang at one time they called King Snake or something like that, or was that Shelby?
Cobra?
Was that a Shelby or something?
The Cobra?
I don't know. Heidi, no, I'm not into animals now. We're just throwing out names for the show.
I don't think it was David
Steve
Allen
Earle.
Coe.
Steve Earle, Cigar Texan says. It was Steve, because David Allen Coe was the one that really wrote some songs that people wouldn't like.
Yeah. He has kind of a checkered past.
Copper colored trim too, which they are using somewhat of copper colored for their trim. So it was a missed opportunity, Revy. King Cobra. I mean, hell, let's just call it the Steve Earle. There we go. That's the Steve Earle package. You know how you have the Eddie Bauer? Hell, what's Georgia Florida line? Let's really shit on this thing.
Man,
I'm not a fan.
Bust out the Colt Ford now.
Yeah. The Brooks and Dunn.
Brooks and Dunn.
Super nice guys though. I knew kicks pretty well, and Ronnie, I sold a Martin D45. I'm quite proud of that. At the time, it was an $8,000 guitar.
What shop were you in?
What guitar shop was I in?
Yeah,
it was called Chambers Guitars in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Joe Chambers was a songwriter in Nashville. Yeah. He wrote for Ricky Van Shelton. He had can't think of his name. The guy, I don't want to be rude. The old country artist that they had him on stage, he's got something wrong with him. I can't think of.
Randy Travis.
No. Randy Travis. Old 8x10 album was his song on that album, and he had a music store, kind of as a, hey, I like guitars, and but very connected to the music industry. Do what?
Not in Nashville.
No, we did have a store in Nashville. We had a store in Nashville, Bowling Green, and Franklin, Tennessee. I ran the one in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Tim, if you're trying to look me up, 1994 to 1997.
Oh,
I was the general manager of that store, and my social is.
I've already got it. Don't worry.
My mother's maiden name.
Got that too.
No, man, I'd had a blast at that store, but
even got the PIN number you use with the Social Security Administration.
Okay.
No. I was just you mentioned about the songwriter. I was just thinking back. I was listening to I think it's Willie's Roadhouse on there, and they did a Grand Ole Opry from earlier in that week, and Whispering Bill Anderson. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Big time songwriter. The guy cannot sing to save his life, but he gets up there and sings, and I had to turn it off.
We had what was called Opryland USA here in Nashville. It was a little theme park.
Oh yeah, right there at the site of the Opryland Mall, and
that would be Gaylord, correct, Tim. And it is now a mall.
Opry now,
and they have part of the. I think I forget the guy that the Opry guy that lived in the park. I can't remember his name. Older guy, always wore these fancy suits, man. Had the
little
hair.
Jimmy Dickens?
No, I played golf with little Jimmy Dickens. I kid you not. Yeah, I played a scramble with little Jimmy Dickens. No, it was fun to be.
You guys saw eye to eye, I take it.
Well, no, I was a tall man compared to him. Little Jimmy, I don't think he was 5 foot. Well, you put a guitar around him, the guitar was like bigger than him. But yeah, that was my time in the music. I did traveling and all that fun stuff, and now
I will admit I do try to get to the Opry every time I'm in Nashville.
Really?
Yeah, I've
been there one time. I bet you'll never guess why I was at the Opry.
Corporate event?
No. It was, I think, 2005, 4, 5 was when I was there. I've been to the Ryman many times because the Ryman is the best place to see live music ever.
Never been to the Ryman because every time I'm in town, there's either nothing going on or.
Yep.
But
why was I there? Why was I there?
Change light bulbs?
No, I saw Robin Williams at the Grand Ole Opry.
Really?
Yep, he did his live on Broadway tour, and I think he was the show right before he went to New York to do it live on HBO.
Huh.
And at the time, I loved comedy, but I didn't realize comedy was a structured performance. I had no idea. I just thought it was just guys I never thought about comedy in that way. So I was really disappointed after I saw him at the Grand Ole Opry, and then a few nights later I was all excited to see, what's Robin going to talk about on this? And it was the same show, and I was like, what the BS is this?
Yeah.
But shows my ignorance.
I as a live sound production engineer, I enjoy going and sitting, and actually it's one of the few places that the music isn't cranking like in a rock show, where you can actually listen, and they've got good engineers and great performers.
Yeah,
generally, because I start critiquing things.
That's the worst thing.
Sound. I hear 16, 18 channels. I don't hear left and right. I don't hear blended music. I hear individual.
I'm the worst person to see live music with because I'm critiquing the musicians. I can tell you when they messed up.
Yep.
I can watch their face and I know what he missed that, and he knows he missed it, and he's hoping nobody noticed he missed it. And I've told Kelly many times. I've had friends go, I bet you're fun to go as an ex-musician. I bet you're fun to go see a show with. And I'm like, I don't go because it's not fun to me anymore. There's a few artists I love to go see Johnny Lang when he's in town. There's a few guitar, like I'm a big guitar guy. So there's a few live acts like that, but ultimately I'm not a big country music guy anymore either. I like old country, and the new stuff is like Georgia Florida Line. It's like, nah.
Oh, there's some of the newer stuff.
I know you went to
I can live with, but I'm a honky tonk guy.
Okay.
I'm a late 80s,
Dwight Yoakam,
early
dude.
90s.
I love Dwight Yoakam.
Late 80s, early 90s honky tonk guy.
Yep.
And I prefer music out of that generation. Well, just the other night I sent you the pictures. I was at the Clint Black concert. Which I actually waited longer.
Porter Wagner, yes, it was Porter Wagner.
Clint Black.
Yep.
I waited longer to see Clint Black than I did to get my Bronco. We actually bought the tickets in 2019. And hello, can you still hear me?
I see you, but it's you're it says waiting for a VCam connection, Tim.
Yeah.
I like that in the chat they're still naming what this truck should be. We should call it the Porter Wagner. That might get more recognition. George Strait in that horrible movie, though. I love George Strait, but that movie he did was horrible, where they acted like they cut off his ponytail and you could tell it was just a clip on. That was horrible. Let's see. What else we got going? The Native Ranger. Like, you guys are tripping me out. You just keep going with the names on this thing. Guys, so the way this show is going to go, once again, you email us, All Terrain Nation. You can get a hold of us to contact us that way on allterrainnation.com. And once again, present your case. You know, I don't need a here's why I should be on the show. Just here's a quick outline of what I want to talk about. We've had a few of you on the show in the past, and it's been fun. And I think you guys should, especially like some of your OGs, man. You've been with me for so long. You guys deserve your say in these topics, as it were. That's how Tim got on the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Tim was like a barnacle I couldn't scrape off my boat.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was other Tim Davis or overlanding, I never knew which week he was going to be. But
well, that was when I was in the middle of trying to brand the channel, and I've got my other brand for my IT stuff, and that's the other Tim Davis, and so I was kind of in that transition. I've
Storm StreamYard. Barnacle Tim. Yep. No, that's the Bronco Santa.
I am a sailor, mobile moto. So
yep,
there you go. I'm at one with the ocean. I'm a shellback, if anybody's familiar with that.
Bronco 78 was worried about. I think they were asking, did you have chip issues there? Your
with
technical difficulties.
Yeah, so I'm using my using an old iPhone as a web camera. So
Tim has succumbed to network issues, and he's an IT guy.
Yeah,
the irony of all this. So Tim, any final thoughts, man? I think I've ranted and bitched about this enough. I'm hoping the next probably next Tuesday we'll do this again. If you want to join in, you're welcome to. Guys, save your obviously Bronco Mondays. You know the real Bronco talk. Not somebody trying to claim to be Bronco talk, but we have a lot of fun on that show, and that's strictly Broncos, but this is for everything. So if there's something in the industry that pisses you off you want to talk about, let's do it. I've been looking to do a more general show, and I think this will be a fun way to do it. And I think Tim and his fire pit bring a good perspective. And Tim knows how to push my buttons, it seems like, to get me to rant. So, or not to allow me to rant, as it were.
Yeah, it depends. I'll be a good wingman. That's I'll stay with my wingman there. Speaking of which, I don't know if anybody's noticed they have come out and give an in theater release date for
Top
Gun Maverick.
Yep.
Which I am.
That was a good trailer.
I am absolutely looking forward to, and that just to give a little back history, that movie came out a couple of years before I went into the Navy,
1986.
And, oh my God! The 2 years that I was in school, you could guarantee that was playing somewhere in one of the barracks.
Really?
Yeah, somebody was watching it, but the real joy came when I transferred to my ship in San Diego. The dumpy bar that's in Top Gun is the Kansas City Barbecue and Grill in downtown San Diego, and that was our ship's bar. I started my professional drinking career at an early age in that bar. I think we're past the statute of limitations.
Cigar Texan says no, so now I have to carve out Mondays and Tuesdays every week. Well, this show may float a little bit. You guys, if you were with me last year, you remember softball season is upon me. So depending on game nights, I sometimes have to shift shows around. So be flexible with me. And if you can't show up, that's fine. But as of right now, yes, Mondays and Tuesdays. My goal is to, when I go full time, is to do Monday through Friday live streams. So that's the goal. Whether people continue to watch the channel and help it grow, that's, it's either or. So if you haven't yet, please smash that like button for me. It just helps people find the new show. This is the happy hour, and I'm pretty happy now, Tim. I got that out of my system.
You interrupted me.
I'm sorry. I mean,
So,
just like you were doing me when I was ranting, you know.
But it's okay. I'm the guest. You're the host.
But
you're the host.
But
you
Tim
are supposed to be.
Tim,
you're supposed to have the decor. I'm just a guest.
I have the decor.
Yeah, the Kelly McGinnis house was in Oceanside. But yeah, so that bar was in downtown San Diego. That was our ship's bar. We were there.
Did you sing that song?
Every week, maybe every night when we were in port.
Did you lose that loving feeling?
Oh my God. The piano's in there. People would play Great Balls of Fire all the time.
Yeah.
It was a giant tourist trap.
Take me home or lose me forever.
Absolutely. So, believe me, once some civilian found out you were in the Navy, oh my God, I was drinking for free.
Nice.
And it was a party for 3 years of my life.
Yeah.
Oh, Ward Carroll. I watch his stuff too there, Mobomoto. I like him. So he was on the Independence. Their squadron was at the same time that I was in the Gulf. So we were over there when we were doing the Operation Southern Watch, was the no-fly zone.
You were on a battleship, right?
I was got a missile cruiser. So we provided. Yeah,
you were not on a flat deck.
No, not on a carrier.
Yeah.
We provided surface to air or air coverage for the carrier battle group. So I actually worked on the computers that made the missiles.
The reel to reels, the reel to reel machines.
Yeah, the reel to reel machines.
That's how old you are, right?
Zoom.
Did you put the cards in, like
no
program them?
No.
Really?
Our stuff was on magnetic tape, but we did have backups on punch tape. So
got to have those codes somewhere. There we lost Tim again.
Yeah,
there he is.
My battery on my camera's about dead.
Damn it, Tim! You're supposed to prepare for this.
Yeah, well, I did. I don't know why. So sometimes it charges off. I've just got to plug this directly into the charger, not off the computer.
The Tomcat, the F-14 was my favorite plane as a kid. The Corsair prop plane was my favorite plane of World War II. I'm a big history nut, man, and the Tomcat, pound for pound, was an amazing plane. And the F-15 was great, but after that, it just seems like they've kind of lost direction of. And who can forget? Is it the AC-10 or is it the AC-10? Is the Warthog, which is probably
the A-10. It's the A-10. Okay. Yeah. So I think the same person that's naming vehicles over at Ford is probably the same people that have done the.
No, I think the Navy got it better. I think the Navy got it a lot better.
And no, the F-14 is by far the best fighter jet out there, pound for pound. And Ward Carroll, if anybody is interested, he is a F-14 Rio, and he's got a great channel on aviation in general, but primarily naval aviation.
Well, and the A-10 is so awesome they can't replace it. They try to. How many times have they tried to, like 3 or 4 times, tried to say, hey, it's at the end of its life? And
I believe they are making a replacement for it, but it is going to be basically just an updated version of it.
Yeah,
it's an awesome plane. It's awesome for ground support, and it's got a 30 millimeter Gatling gun that the plane is actually built around.
Yeah, because it has to slow down to fire that gun, right?
I don't think it has to slow down per se, but it's designed for slow overhead flight.
I thought that was part of with that the 30 cal that it could fly. It literally could fly into.
It's not 30 cal. Or it's 30 millimeter.
Millimeter. I'm sorry.
Calibers in is an
yeah, inches, it'd be tiny. It'd be a little tiny. But no, man, that would be a fun show. That's I guess that is somewhat all terrain, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So that was the show. So guys, stick with us, please. This show will get better. I'll have a fancy intro and all that coming up. Smash that like button. Tell a buddy, bring a friend, buy, sell, trade. Don't you dare miss it. The happy hour. And so whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, it does not matter what you drive, Tim, because this has been your All Terrain Nation. And what are we, sir?
We're out.
Peace, everybody. See y'all next week. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bum.